Stanley Cup final, the Lightning beat the Canadiens 3-1. Andrei Vasilevsky had 42 saves in net for Tampa Bay, and Blake Coleman scored a spectacular goal with 2 seconds left in the second period. That was the difference as Tampa Bay gets the 2-0 series lead. In baseball, the Angels rally to beat the Yankees in the Bronx 11-8. Shohei Ohtani started for LA, allowed 7 earned runs in less than an inning of work before getting pulled, but the Angels rallied with 7 runs in the ninth, highlighted by Jared Walsh's grand slam off Aroldis Chapman. I'm Eddie Garcia.
This is Fox Sports News.
Fox.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Steve Sipple. I'm Big Sky, not Jake Sorensen. Early break on a Thursday. How are you this morning?
Big Sky, I'm excited. That's how I am.
What
Excited. This isn't your debut because you have your own show.
It's my early break debut.
That's your early break debut. And yeah, I'm excited about that. You know how it goes. We're always trying to kind of get things going here. But yeah, my headphones are rolling. I'm ready. You're ready. We have tons to talk about. So it should be really fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you got hey, right away. What's the deal? You got a ding on your car. What happened?
Oh, wow. You're just going to throw me under the bus like that.
Well, I figured it was somebody else's issue.
No, so it was my fault 100%.
I'm not throwing you under the bus.
You did throw me under the bus.
No, it's not because some things happen.
I'm an honest child, so you're not telling my parents who are listening right now. I told them right away, but I ran into my own garage.
That happens
At my apartment complex, or I guess it's at I have a duplex kind of situation going on.
You know,
there's a 90-degree churn into my garage, and one morning after the show, I was a little tired. I wanted to go back and try and take a nap.
Oh,
I turned it into the garage a little too quickly.
Oh man, that stinks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep, it did suck.
Because you got a nice Forerunner.
Yeah, we're gonna get it taken care of. I have to go back home at the end of July, at the end of this month.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get it taken care of. Hopefully, then.
Yeah, hey, you're a young man. That stuff's gonna happen a lot.
Well, it's happened to my brother twice already,
Right.
so this is my first incident with damage to my vehicle.
It'll happen. I mean, people will hit you. You'll hopefully not hit anybody major, but that stuff happens. I'm not throwing you under the bus. Come on, who are you talking to? People don't even let me drive. Literally, don't let me drive. You've seen me drive. You've even noticed some issues.
Well, since we're throwing each other under the bus, what's with the new car this morning?
I'm driving. No, I'm driving Trixie's car because because there's a flat tire situation that needs to be taken care of. There's a donut on the side. There's a donut on the side of it. So I took it in yesterday, and the tire was ravaged. So they had to get a new one, but they didn't have one in stock. So yeah, that's what's going on. Cramps my style quite a bit.
It does a little bit.
That does. It's kind of it's a Volkswagen Wolfsburg edition. I don't want to say it's
it's not as tough as the truck.
Thank you. So you're already bailing me out.
Yeah.
The young man is already bailing the older man out, which will become a pattern.
Well,
the
Chevy that you drive is much cooler than the car you're rolling in this morning.
Yeah, I try to tell Trix I don't want to drive the car. I don't want to drive very often. So the truck that's my truck. But she likes the truck too.
No hog this morning though.
No, because of the bag. I have a deal. I don't have a hog with all the trappings. I want it to be stripped down. I'm not big on wearing my backpack at age 54.
I can understand that. I'm only 21 and I'm ready to be done toting backpacks around all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing. Don't get me wrong. There's dudes out with motorcycles. I just saw one on the way here, a dude with a backpack, probably my age. I just don't like strapping it on. That's it. All right. Well,
I want to get to something on the text line right away.
All right.
Is Big Sky's debut the most anticipated debut since LeBron James in 2003?
Yes. I would. I can't. Yes. I'm not even. I don't. There's no hesitation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just the small part of this small talk is a strategy of me just making sure you're settled in. No nerves.
If I was any less calm, I'd be dead. So.
I don't want you to be too calm.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's get into the NIL.
Yeah. Things were happening yesterday.
Yes, Runza comes out of the gate strong in Nebraska with a sponsorship deal for the first 100 athletes to use the Open Doors Deals portal to sign up for a social media sponsorship with the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to that is, I am a proponent of the NIL, and that even felt weird for me, just how big it was right away, how real it is.
Really?
My question is, how long do you think the adjustment process is going to be for Husker fans?
It depends on the Husker fan. I don't. This NIL discussion is not. I don't think everybody looks at it the same at all. I think some people are sort of nonplussed. Some are horrified. You know, there was that. We had a few people on the text line yesterday in Vegas Bobcat saying it's the end of college football as we know it, which in a sense, it is, because it is going to change, but it doesn't. I'm not convinced it's going to change for the worse. The Runza thing is, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed by Runza, first of all, that they would be the lead dog in this situation, that they would have the forethought to roll out a press release. They rolled out a press release. In fact, they this was all, what's today, Thursday? It was all going on Tuesday that they alerted the respective news organizations that this was going to happen. And they had a press release with the Open Doors founder, one of the founders, Blake Lawrence, all ready to go. And here you go. And it's sort of an interesting concept, right? It's the first 100 current athletes. It could be anybody in the state, not just Nebraska Cornhusker athletes, right? Who opt into a social media promotion. I wonder how they opt. I was sort of interested. How do they opt in?
Well, I was kind of reading a little bit about that Open Doors Deals portal.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like a job board where companies can list promotions that they're doing similar to that. We're looking for a student athlete with these certain characteristics. If you qualify, send in your resume, your application, whatever it is, and we will see if you fit our brand, and then we'll sponsor you that way.
Well,
and it seems like it's one-time sponsorship. You're not signing a contract. You're not tying yourself to the brand. You're just doing one-time deals on this deals portal.
Well, okay. Now, see, this is where I look at it and go, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's a lot right with that, because in a sense, the NIL in this case, and in a lot of cases probably, will be introducing college students to the real world. That's the way it works. I mean, and you have to be organized. There's have to be a level of aggression. You have to decide what you want to pursue, what you don't want to pursue. Those are all things that are going to happen, So, you know what? There's a lot of good in that. There's things that concern people, but I don't know. I've become sort of less concerned as we go forward. I still have major concerns. Just like
you're a college administrator right now, Big Sky. There are concerns. It feels like, okay, you know what it feels like to me? Now I'll get back to Runza here in a second. But in reading about all this yesterday, it feels like to me it's getting rolled out maybe a year too early. The federal government, we know college administrators anticipated the federal government laying out blanket guidelines, which hasn't happened, right? So the NCAA kind of had to step in and say, okay, everybody's covered. There's a lot of things we're not sure about right now, but we're going forward. I wonder if they could have taken another year and got, and and gotten everything smoothed out and then let it roll.
From the vehemently pro NIL camp,
right?
I don't think that would have been an acceptable outcome
because
they've been so hot on it since the early parts of the 2010 decade with the landmark O'Bannon and Keller case. I don't think that they would have been capable of waiting any longer. It was kind of like, give it to us now, or we riot. And that's just kind of how this country's been right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as I said yesterday, there's a lot that makes sense about the NIL as it applies to this country. And that's one of them. Yeah, give it to me now. That's the way we kind of are. There's one thing I read something. I was reading what Blake Lawrence, who I call him the founder. He's the Open Door CEO, Blake Lawrence. He played linebacker for Nebraska. I remember I wrote his recruiting story, actually. He was a good linebacker from the state of Kansas. Blake Lawrence, God, Big Sky, now that I'm thinking about it, he might have been from Lawrence, Kansas. Or Topeka, one of the two. Anyway, you can check that. There's he said something yesterday that kind of caught my eye. Well, one of the things that Open Doors does is helps brand building. I kind of I read it and I kind of got a chuckle. I wonder if anybody would try to construct a business that helped with team building. It seems like the team building thing has taken a far back seat to the individual brand building, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to rail against it. You can't.
Well, NIL is inherently individualistic.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's You're
building your own brand is individualistic.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it's sort of interesting to me. That part of it continues to be interesting to me. But so you saw a bunch of stuff rolled out yesterday, like Lexi Sun rolled out.
The Sunny Crew.
Yeah, is that what that is?
The Sunny Crew. I'm not sure if it's a group of it's what she's naming her brand of clothing, or if it's the name of the specific crew neck sweatshirt she was wearing in the Twitter post.
Yeah.
But she's called it the Sunny Crew. It's got a nice little sun themed logo on it.
Yeah, and she can model it. Smiling Lexi Sun models it. It looks really good. And I think she's going to be among the most effective student athletes as far as the NIL goes.
You have to think it was one of the reasons why she was interested in coming back to Nebraska.
Yeah, because it's an exciting time for her for sure. And she has a great opportunity to make some money. Now, Big Sky, I have no issue with that. I mean, it would just be like, I've thought about it a lot in the last few weeks. I mean, it's no different than, I had a friend in college who on the side, one of her side gigs was she actually would
make workout clothes. Like she designed workout clothes and could even sew portions of workout clothes. It was sort of complicated to me, but it always struck me I can remember, even though it was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, ask her, hey, how's it? Have you sold any? And occasionally she would. I mean, that was, so is it really that much different? Lexi Sun having a little side gig? Probably not. I've kind of come around on it. I find some of it to be sort of cheesy. But I don't think the social media part will be cheesy. I won't notice a lot of the social media part. I don't think a lot of people will notice it, right? If you're not on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, you won't even notice what's going on, probably, right?
I think I will notice it because I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
I follow Adrian on Instagram. I follow a couple of the Husker football players on Instagram, and I think I'll notice it there just because I'm keenly interested in how they'll include it in their social media, how it will change.
Yeah.
Another place I'm going to be looking at it is there's a gymnast from LSU on TikTok, and she chose to stay with her athletic team and not monetize her TikTok. Her name's Olivia Dunn. She'll she's in line to make a lot of money on TikTok. I'll be interested to see how she implements it and how jarring it will be. One of my roommates is a big fan of hers, and so I'll be interested to see if she considers her a sellout once this all goes into effect.
So you say she is going to do it, or she's not going to participate? She is going to participate?
Before NIL was a thing, she could have left the team and started making money off of her TikTok. She chose to stay with her athletic team, keep her athletic scholarship, and not make money on TikTok, even though she has millions of followers on the app. So now she can do both. So I'll be interested to see how she implements it, because she's in line to make a lot of money.
Yeah, it seems like it's happening fairly quickly. I don't know. God, Big Sky, the one thing I don't want to happen is me to sound like the old man who's struggling to adjust to change. I'm really fighting that. And it's probably part of the reason I've become more accepting of it, because I really don't want to be the old man shaking my fist at the clouds all the time.
On NIL, I think you have come around, and I don't think you are the old man shaking your fist at the clouds anymore.
I don't think so.
You're incredibly accepting from where you were a week ago.
Well, I don't know that we had a little spat I don't know if it was a spat. We just had a spirited discussion in the office a few weeks ago. I think it's more of a conceptual or more of a philosophical discussion. And I am still, now Big Sky, we don't need to get in an argument, but I'm still, all the changes in college athletics are geared toward the individual. That's my issue. They're all about, like, the transfer portals, just geared towards the making life easier for individuals, and it cuts into the notion of team. That's why I always say, and I'll never go back on that, because it does. I mean, I was looking at Nebraska's going to play Auburn on December 11th this year. There's a Big Sky. There's a part of me that's very concerned about college athletics. It's not really this isn't about me. It's not. I don't want to make this about me. I looked at Nebraska's going to play Auburn. I think they announced it yesterday. December 11th, where the Atlanta Hawks play, State Farm Arena. And I thought, so you think, okay, how's Auburn? Well, they're 14-13 last year. But the roster's completely different now, because they've brought in 5, 6, 7 transfers. I mean, it's a totally reconstructed roster. Now, Big Sky, you're young. I don't expect you to understand this, but I liked sports in general, college basketball, college football, or let's say college basketball in particular. I followed it when I was your age. When I was your age, Big Sky, it was so much different. You wouldn't even understand it. Like, you had I followed it when they had a guy named Brian Carr. Brian Carr was a real good guard who came in from Indiana and was here for 4 years. And you never thought he'd leave. I'd watch him as a freshman, think, okay, he's good, but man, what's he going to look like when he's a senior? And you could do that with that whole team. These guys are going to be together, and you're going to kind of get to know them as they grow together as a team. And it's going to be and it's going to be interesting. And you knew them. Dave Hoppen became a thing here because he grew in the program. He didn't play here 1 year, decide he wasn't getting the ball enough and go somewhere else, and then go there and decide, this isn't exactly what I want. I'm going to go somewhere else. And now I know that you could say, why is that better? I think it's inherently better that way.
Well, I don't think that the Teddy Allens and the Andrew White III of the world are going to become the new normal when you allow kids to transfer one time for free. Right. You're not going to get people just jumping all over the country. You'll see an increase undoubtedly of one-time transfers, which is why I don't necessarily think all this individualistic legislation coming out is going to necessarily be detrimental to team. There are still going to be great coaches who can build teams no matter what.
Yeah, they're just going to have to go to the transfer market, which is what's happening. I mean, I get it. Nebraska does it. So the team has a different look every year. I mean,
you're still going to get kids who come for 4 years and stay for 4 years. There are still people that exist that do it the the right way in your
I
eyes?
think that's the right. Well, now, do you think that's the right way?
Well, I came to Nebraska and I stayed for 4 years, so clearly I think that's the right way to do college.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, it's not always wrong. I don't want to throw a blanket over everything. It's not always wrong to transfer. Of course it's not. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense. Coaching changes. Student athletes who make jumps because of coaching changes makes sense. A lot of it makes perfect sense. A lot of times it makes perfect sense, but I'm telling you, it's not as appealing as it was. That's that becomes that's subjective, but I think most people feel that way. Like the Auburn thing was really weird to me. Okay, they're not even close to the same team as they were last year because they brought in transfer after transfer after transfer. Bruce Pearl decided, hey, I can't go 14-13 again too many times, so let's go get a bunch of guys that are basically mercenaries.
Just like in every sport, there's going to be a team that does one thing and is extremely successful, and then every other team is going to try and do the exact same thing. So if you see a team have success with a lot of transfers, if Auburn goes out and wins 25 games this year and makes a deep run in the NCAA tournament, absolutely you'll see tons of people going into the transfer market. But if the teams that recruit well and develop their guys and win at high levels continue to do that, I don't think you're going to see transfer mania. I don't think you're going to see free agency in college basketball.
It might settle. Big Sky, it definitely could flatten the rate, and that would be good.
And I think we can agree that when athletes transfer, there is a good chance that they are going to end up in a worse situation or not develop the way they should.
Right.
And every kid who transfers is going to be an example. I say kid. Every athlete that transfers is going to be an example to the next one that's thinking about transferring. So if Teddy Allen, he ends up at New Mexico, UNLV,
New Mexico State.
Yeah. Okay. He ends up at New Mexico State. Is a kid going to honestly look at that and say New Mexico State is a better destination than Nebraska with its world-class facilities? I don't think so.
Not many. Rice is probably a better example, like McCaffrey, People are going to look at McCaffrey and go, ooh, this didn't work out all that well.
I was trying to stay in college basketball, but yes, you can definitely easily say that Rice, at least as an athletic program, is not as good as Nebraska.
Yeah, not even in the same realm.
Right. And so that's an example for every kid who's going to think about transferring after McCaffrey.
That's fair.
If I try and leave Nebraska, am I going to end up at Rice? Do I legitimately think I can do better than Luke McCaffrey?
Right. I got you.
So that's going to be an example to all those kids. So that's going to be something that they think about. It's not going to be, well, I can do it, so I might as well.
Okay, so shifting back to NIL, I think we all agree on one thing. I think we all agree Nebraska's I'd say in a potentially spectacular position, right?
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As an institution.
I was looking around at some of the ADs that were thinking about or are on the list, and I was going through the news releases of their schools, and they would have some sort of NIL thing set up. Cincinnati specifically is one of the ones I was looking at. They had an NIL
of course
thing.
You were looking at Cincinnati.
Looked up, or they had it set up, but it was nowhere near as professional or as prepared as Nebraska was. So I think Nebraska is really making the most of this new legislation and going to take extreme advantage of it.
Yeah, they've been very aggressive. Parker Gabriel talked to Garrett Classy, who came to Nebraska 22 months ago as an associate AD. He's on the executive team at Nebraska, and says he's been working on this for 20 of those months. I almost hesitate to go down this road because it seems like you're stating the obvious, but if for people that are just getting initiated to this discussion, why is Nebraska in such a spectacular position? Because these student athletes here, if you just think of the states around you, think if you're a Colorado athlete and you're trying to attract marketing money to build your brand. Well, what are you dealing with? You also have in your state the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Avalanche. All those athletes are competing for marketing money, right? In a sense. So Colorado will get lost in that. Colorado State. Those student athletes might get a little lost. That's Colorado. Even Kansas I mean, look at the state of Kansas, what it offers. Well, for one thing, there's Kansas State, Kansas, Wichita State, etc. So there's different universities plus the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think you'll find that it's going to be the usual suspects, the teams with the most fervent, hardcore fan bases that are going to benefit the most from NIL.
Right, like Nebraska,
Alabama,
and Nebraska is so unique because it is the brand,
right,
in the state. There's other, Creighton's Creighton, UNK's UNK, but Nebraska has such a strong presence, and it's unique. I mean, there's not many places that command the presence that Nebraska does. Not even the surrounding states, not even Iowa. I mean, Iowa, you're looking at least, you're looking at Iowa State, Drake. It's not just one brand. It's not just one central brand there either. Iowa State, those student athletes and Drake will compete with that to a certain extent, especially with their rise in basketball. So even the surrounding states, in kind of even less populous areas, Nebraska is in this strangely unique position. And then Open Doors has their headquarters. I don't know if it's Big Sky, you may know this. They have Open Doors right by the Wendy's downtown. I think that's their headquarters.
I do not know for sure, but I know which building you're talking about.
Yeah, they have an Open Doors. If that's not their headquarters, that's some sort of satellite site. But I do think that's their headquarters. You could you can literally drive through the Wendy's and get a chicken sandwich and a vanilla shake and look into the Open Doors offices, and there you see the hub, and that's where they're teaching kids how to do this effectively. Nebraska has a course that it teaches their kids how to do it. And Big Sky, I'm not pushing back on that. I mean, they're teaching kids how to get out into the world and make money. I mean, I tell my grandkids all the time, but you got to get it. It's expensive to live in this world,
Well, I'm just gonna say it. I wish Nebraska had taught me how to make money.
You're still in Nebraska.
I'm still waiting for the money making course. Where do I sign up?
You're sitting across from the teacher. Okay, I just tell people this. That ding you got on your truck's going to be expensive.
Oh, it is. I already got the estimate on it.
Yeah. That crap's expensive. Everything's expensive. I got a donut on my tire. I'm gonna go get a new tire, and a tire now is $150. When I was your age, I can remember distinctly putting 4 tires on my truck that were $33 each. $33 each. I mean,
was gas also a nickel at the time?
I don't know.
How much were you paying for a Coke?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd say when I was going to the machines at the Columbus YMCA to get a Coke, I wasn't putting in more than 50 cents. 50 cents.
I would be 300 pounds if Coke was 50 cents. or Pepsi on UNL's campus. I would be drinking a lot of Pepsi. One last question from the text line. Adam asks, do you think that the NIL will slow down the transfer market?
Oh, yeah, it could. I mean, it could have that effect.
If you're at a place like Nebraska and you see all the stuff that they have going on, and you think about going into the transfer portal, will that slow your thought process down? Maybe.
Now, what works against that is there's some people like Sean Callahan yesterday who suggested this is only going to NIL in terms of making significant money, like 6 figures, is only going to impact a certain number, a low number of student athletes. So I guess I'm not ready just to sign off on the idea that it'll slow the transfer, because I don't know how many people this is going to affect.
But as we saw from the runs of promotion that we led the show with, every athlete is going to be able to take advantage of this in some way.
Well, I wonder. Now that's a good discussion, winding it back to Runza. I wonder how many business entities will come out with a program like Runza, which makes it pretty inclusive, right? First 100 to the start line. You can get in on this. I think they would sign a contract. It'd be a one-time deal, right? Is that what this is?
I believe it's a one-time promotion to their social media following.
Right.
Yes.
Now I wonder how many entities would do it that way. I think that's a very I mean, I would say it's a novel way to do it, but everything's novel right now. I was interested in the way Runza did that. This is not just a University of Nebraska situation. If you're at UNK, you could get on this.
Right. And Runza said that they would continue to do promotions like this. This is how they plan to handle the NIL going forward.
So what's your vision for Runza? So what, if you're a student athlete, what do you think, what would your marketing contribution be to Runza? You're just going to get on your social media and say, hey, here's the deal of the month.
Now, if I was a student athlete, I would not, because I'm not a big fan of Runza. But a kid who is a fan of Runza would say, they'd post on their story or their normal just Instagram post. There'd probably be stipulations from Runza on what level of content that they want from the athlete, but they'd post a story or a just big post, tag Runza in it so Runza can see that they fulfilled their obligation.
Yep.
And then they'll send the money off. And then as soon as the term is done, the athlete can delete that. Or if it's a story, it'll run out in 24 hours. Then they're free to go advertise whatever else they want. Their contract with Runza is up. And that's how I imagine Runza is going to handle it going forward. And that's what it's going to look like for an obligation on the student athlete side.
Yeah. See, one of them, you just don't know how many opportunities will there be like this. I imagine at some point there will be a long list of these sorts of opportunities. Runza's just pretty far out front, right? I was surprised with how quickly they got out of the gates. I have not heard anything that from a specific brand. Obviously, the athletes are working on their own individual things, but this is the earliest a brand has gotten out with something. Yeah. So it was impressive. I thought that was impressive.
We'll be right back here on Early Break with a little bit of talk about the Nebraska Athletic Director position. Some news came out from that. We'll be right back here on Early Break on the Ticket.
There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Chadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to 100 years of your Nebraska State Parks. Plan your next trip today at NebraskaParks100.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Baseball's back, and it's time to celebrate, Lincoln. We're inviting fans back to Haymarket Park to join in the fun for the Salt Dogs' 20th season. Pick out single-game tickets and plot your own Salt Dog schedule around promos and deals. Come to Haymarket Park for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dog celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Your home isn't going to fix itself, and you're busy enough as it is. So let Cornhusker Construction put the work in to upgrade your house. They do everything interior and exterior, including full remodel jobs. Are your kitchen and bathrooms outdated? Cornhusker Construction can help with that, with new flooring, painting, drywall, and anything else. Take advantage of their summer sale with 4% off for the rest of the summer. Call in today at 308-708-0709. Cornhusker Construction.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska in the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but that of my family, friends, and our community because I got my COVID vaccine. And now everyone 12 years and older can be vaccinated. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska got some bad news in the athletic director search yesterday. Jamie Pollard offered the position but doesn't want it. Sip, what do you think of that?
Well, it's interesting. Do I regard that as bad news for Nebraska? That's a question. That's an interesting way to phrase it, Big Sky.
Is it bad news? I think Jake would take it.
There's definitely people that would, and I can see why you frame it up that way, because I would have regarded him as a home run hire. So in that sense, I guess you could characterize it as bad news. I get it though, especially after reading what Jamie Pollard said on this podcast, apparently yesterday or the day before. He said something. He said kind of a zinger, by the way, which I'll get to. He said we've worked really hard for 17 years to get this program in this spot, the Iowa State program. He said he's flattered and all that. And then he said, this is what I found. I don't know, Big Sky. I don't know if it raised your eyebrows. It raised mine. He said, I would argue right now that our athletics program is ahead of their program. I'll take that as a huge compliment, etc. I guess they are. It's kind of hard to, it's still hard to hear that. And I think he's talking across the board, but it's largely a football discussion.
A football and basketball discussion.
Yeah.
Their basketball team was equally as unsuccessful this last season.
But they've been pretty good.
They have when they had our coach.
Yeah.
So it's tough to hear because I grew up when Iowa State was at its very worst and when Nebraska was in the Big 12. So for a long time, there was a Cyclone fan in my high school, and I would tell him all the time, we would talk about college football, and he asked me how Iowa State was looking. I said, well, they're still the worst team in college football in the Power 5. Now you could make a better case that Nebraska is the worst team in the Power 5 than Iowa State is the worst team in the Power 5.
I don't think I'd put them in the Nebraska in the very
They're
bottom.
much closer than Iowa State
Oh,
is.
yeah, for sure. Hey, even when, okay, now it's funny. There's always going to be, with me and you doing the show, there's these generational discussions. It's funny to hear you say, I remember when Iowa State was at its lowest. I don't know if you remember. I think Iowa State was lowest when you maybe weren't alive. I mean, in the Big 8, they were really bad. I mean, and they got a little bit better probably, in Dan McCarney years.
Was that around the Seneca Wallace
era
for the Cyclones? Yes.
Yeah.
With Seneca Wallace, they were good. I think they were ranked for.
They might have been ranked a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah. Maybe, I don't know if they ever, I think they might
He
have
was
been
an
lower
exciting
top
player to watch. I've seen Seneca Wallace highlights from when he was at Iowa State, and and they were a fun team whenever he was there, but that was just one player during.
Well, they had Troy Davis too, who ran for 1,000 yards. I mean, at least 3 years, and if not 4. They had some players here and there, but I would say this: even when you were growing up, it was almost kind of if you were an Iowa State fan, you're kind of peculiar. Like, really, you're an Iowa State.
That was one of the weirdest things about this student in my high school. Is we're from Montana.
Right.
Why are you an Iowa State fan?
Right. It wouldn't be peculiar if the kid was in somewhere in Iowa. But yeah, if there's a kid walking around in Grand Island with Iowa State gear 15 years ago, very peculiar, unless you have some direct connection. Think about that.
Just to drive the point home, when I would play the old college football video game as a kid, and I was the starting running back for Nebraska, I would always expect to dominate Iowa State. And there was one time where I only beat them 7-0, and I was disgusted with myself for the rest of the day.
Well, that's representative of the way the series used to be. Okay, so Pollard, no, it will not be the AD at Nebraska, which there was a lot of smoke behind his name right out of the gate. Hank Bounds also said, he told me the other day, and we published it yesterday. Hank Bounds, the former Nebraska president, he was the system president from 2015 to 2019, and he was part of he led the team that hired Bill Moose in 2017. He will not be part of it. He's not interested in being Nebraska's next AD. And I thought Hank, and by the way, he had a 3-year contract to help the Nebraska athletic department, the foundation, raise money for that North Stadium expansion facility project. So Hank is still very tied into Nebraska, even from where he's teaching at South Alabama. And he's also, he's a leadership consultant too. He must feel pretty good about his life down there. I really believed that Hank, because of his background, most notably as Nebraska's former system president, someone who had to make big decisions, tough decisions, and understands athletics at a high level. I thought that would be I regarded that as a home run hire if they could have. I don't know that they wanted him, though. That's the other thing. It's a two-way street.
So Nebraska has officially missed out on 2 Steve Sipple home run hires. Are there any other of the names that are floating out there? Alberts, Davison, Cunningham from Cincinnati. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to speak it into existence.
This Cunningham character you keep mentioning.
Are there any other home run hires out there, according to Steve Sipple?
Well, Big Sky. I mean, there would be some like Chris Del Conte that's out of reach. Yeah, there's some
realistic home run hires.
Now, this is, again, okay, so there's some dynamics. Everything's complicated with me. I'm on vacation, so I've been working the phones a lot, but I haven't looked into that particular part because I was sort of early on. I was thinking that there's this group of people, and one of these people, I'd say there's a 50% chance of one of this group getting the job. 50. I didn't think it was like Trev Alberts, Ed Stewart, Matt Davison, Garrett Classy. Who else is on that? Who's been John Cook, Pollard. Okay, now I've pretty much eliminated all but a couple, or maybe 3. Well, I would say Trev Alberts is still alive in the discussion. I think Ed Stewart. Now, this is where Big Sky. I'm not talking completely off the cuff here. I was on the phone a lot yesterday on vacation. Okay, I parked myself in a coffee shop and found myself on the phone for about 3 hours, and then it continued last night. I would say I was close to eliminating Ed Stewart because I'm not sure Stewart. Well, I'm just going to say I was close to eliminating Ed Stewart. I don't want to get into why. I would say Davison is an extreme long shot.
Okay.
Garrett Classy, long shot. I think they'd have to, Garrett Classy, who's the interim AD right now. I believe is interested in the job, but I would regard him as an extreme long shot. Trev is very intriguing to me, Trev Alberts, as is Ed Stewart. But I will say this, Big Sky, and this is, I guess, somewhat of a revelation. I think this is going to happen very quickly.
Before Independence Day.
I don't know if I'd say it'll get done before the 4th. It could. I mean, so it'd have to be today or tomorrow. I'd be a little surprised if it was today. I'd be not as surprised if it's tomorrow. I would be, based on what I was hearing last night. And this is just, these things. I mean, I need to. I need to preface this next statement by saying these situations are always fluid. But I'd be surprised if it goes past next week. The feel I had last night and some particular information, most notably some particular information, leads me to believe this is happening quickly.
We just got 3 great texts here on the text line, so I'm going to read those to you.
Please do.
From Reality, our beloved Reality on the text line.
I love Reality.
Nebraska's athletic program is superior in money, power, and arrogance.
Money, power. Okay.
And he sent that during the Pollard discussion.
Okay.
Would you agree with that statement a little bit? In comparison to Iowa State, more money, more power, but also more arrogant.
Well, Iowa State hasn't had a chance to be arrogant. Not really. I mean, Nebraska was Alabama at one point, or, a reasonable facsimile of Alabama football at one point.
And the athletic department is still seeing success in baseball, volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unfair to be at least a little bit unhumble, not humble,
right?
About some of your successful
it got
sports.
pretty arrogant around here for sure. I mean, arrogant. And if people would say, okay, Sipple, give me an example of arrogant. Well, I'll give you an example. It's pretty clear. 9 and 10 wins wasn't good enough for you. There's a 10. That's a little arrogant. Okay.
That's extremely arrogant.
Right. That definitely trends toward arrogant.
Third winningest coach during that stretch of
right.
time in college football.
That's haughty. Yeah. Do I think it got a little haughty around here? Yeah, I absolutely think it did.
Next one comes from Doc on the text line. Hank Bounds knows how dysfunctional the athletic department is and wants no part of it.
Well, that's a good way. I mean, that's one way to look at it. Some guys would look at it like, yes, it's dysfunctional. It needs my help. I'll go try it out. I'll go try to fix it for $1 million+ a year. Okay. I mean, $1 million+ a year is, if you get a 6-year contract, and you don't, Hank's my age, so 54, he gets a 6-year deal, gets a $6 million injection, you can pretty much do what you want from there. And it might be like Trev Alberts. I don't know that I'd say Trev Alberts needs the job, but he might feel a pull to fix his alma mater. Not look at it in a negative sense, but as an opportunity to right this ship. All right. And not do it for personal reasons, do it for the very, very right reason, which is they need my help and I'm going to try it out.
And then one last text before we get to break. So this is from Matt G. So ... Moose was released before we knew who would take over.
Okay, no, what I'm suggesting, who was that? Was that
Matt G?
Matt G. What I'm suggesting, and this now, Matt G. This all came in a wave yesterday. In fact, it came in a wave after it was late afternoon. What it felt like yesterday was the opposite. I think they have had somebody either close or some way almost sewed up before they made quote unquote the move on Moose. And that I was heartened by it because it did. I mean, I was really kind of taken aback when Ronnie told the World Herald, no, we're starting this search and it'll be a process and we don't have anybody. That could have been a smokescreen, by the way. They didn't want the news out on Moose when it happened. They being the upper level administration. That rattled them a little bit.
And in response to Matt G, I would say if you announce somebody's retiring and then immediately announce their replacement, it can look a little shady.
Well, it would be disrespectful to Bill.
Yes, and as you guys discussed earlier in the week, Bill Moose has a very high, well-respected reputation around the country, and
his legacy is important to him.
You need to show respect to those kinds of people, or it's going to affect your ability to hire people down the road.
Absolutely. He's a 70-year-old Bill Moose who's been a athletic director at 4 institutions, and of course he's protective of his legacy. And if you're Ronnie Green and Ted Carter, you have to honor that, right? So yeah. So I'm planning on this is going to be closed down. They'll have an announcement within the next 8 days.
In the next 7 days.
Yeah.
Song of the day next here on Early Break. Real treat for Steve Sipple and the text line.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A mix of sun and clouds expected here for our Thursday as we top out at around 86. We'll see a very light east-southeast wind at around 5 to 10. A few lingering clouds tonight with a low down to around 65. A repeat performance tomorrow with a high of around 87. Over the weekend, those high temps should push back into the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at MyersWine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Koppel wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelly Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at koppelcars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Bought this jerky, got this free donut too. And these chips could win me a free Lee Brice concert here in our town.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including a free Lee Brice concert for your town. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
You love to bash his sports takes.
Now, will you feel like an idiot if you're
No,
a big tough?
never feel like an
If
idiot.
you're a big tough guy this morning,
But you really love to voice your displeasure for his music choices.
stumbled on an issue that I did not think would generate this much passion and discussion.
It's time for Jake's questionable song of the day on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
But for you, I guess you moved on really easily. You found a new girl and it only took a couple weeks. Remember when you said that you wanted to give me the world? Good for you, I guess that you've been working on yourself. I guess the therapist I found for you should really help. Now you can be a better man for your brand new girl. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you want a chance to ask. Good for you, you're doing great, I'll do without me. Baby, gotta wish that I could do that. I'm gonna stop, probably don't step tonight. Crying on the floor of my bedroom. But you're so unaffected, I really don't get it. I guess good for you.
Song of the day, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. Text in your ratings on the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685.
Taking off, it's like we never even happened, baby. What the is up with that? And good for you, it's like you never even met me. Remember when you swore to God I was the only person who ever got you? Well, screw that, screw you. You will never have to hurt the way you know that I do. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you want the chance to ask. Good for you, you're doing great, I'll do without me, baby.
All right, Sip. I primed this with you during the break. I just want you to react to that. This is not a song that I am a giant fan of.
Don't be defensive.
No. I'm not being defensive. I just want to let people know that I'm purely picking this so I can see your reaction to what's popular these days.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now that's an interesting song to me, and as I was listening to it, I was thinking this sounds like I don't regard as original sound. She sounds like somebody to me. Somebody my age could help me with this. She sounds like a few people probably. Is it Olivia Rodrigo? Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo. I'm not going to say I dislike it. It's an interesting song for sure. I can definitely see why there's widespread appeal. She's singing about a breakup and working through it, and all the accompanying emotions. And I can see it's appealing. She has an appealing voice. It's a good, she goes into what you call a good hook, I think. I'd give that a robust 8.3.
8.3.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's,
okay.
I mean, I don't. And by the way, I mean, you played a female artist.
Well, I did tell you, or maybe it was when Parker was here, but I did say my goal was to play 2 female artists
because that seems like a bit of
it's a bugaboo. It's a bugaboo for Jake.
Yes. For those just tuning in, Jake Sorensen is off to the Black Hills for a well-deserved break, probably with his family. And Big Sky is co-hosting, and he had the song of the day. And I like it. I'd say you're 1 for 1.
What do you think?
You came out of the gate with you know what? I'd say that's a double to the wall.
All right. What do you think the text line thinks of that?
Yeah. No, it may not do it with the text line.
Yes, my man card has been revoked multiple times on the text line.
No, I don't think. I don't want to do that. I think that's a little bit of a caveman mentality to do that.
And Dexter the Texter says Olivia Rodrigo plays at the Drury Inn.
No way.
We have a couple that like it, say it sounds like Avril Lavigne. I have not seen John in Des Moines. I would love to hear what he thinks of the Billboard #1 song from last week.
Avril Lavigne. I'd almost say that song would be one of Avril Lavigne's better songs. Go ahead. I want to hear some other scores.
We got an 8.3.
Okay, that's good. That's what I said.
We have a 60-year-old who gave it a big fat 0.
Okay, 60-year-old.
Lucas from Grand Forks gives it a 2.9, says I shanked it for the golf reference.
Good job, Lucas. Hello, Lucas.
Age 58. Nice Thursday song 7.
See, there you go.
Nice change up from Dave in Orlando. 8. Bring back Jake 2.2. So it's either
that's okay.
It's either a really good song for some people or a really bad song.
Yeah, I always say it when Jake says, "What do you think the text line is going to say?" I always say it's going to be all over the map. It's always all over the map. So.
I would say this was the two extremes of the text line, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was either really like it or really don't like it. I was intrigued by it. I got to tell you. So I'm really interested now in your second at bat.
I think you'll like it a little bit better.
Well, geez, then you're.
It's a little bit more your speed. I think it's going to be a song that you recognize and you like a little bit more.
Okay, all right.
To tease it a little bit, make sure you listen to Song of the Day on a Friday.
Okay, yeah. Well, because Big Sky will be back in that chair tomorrow too.
I will be back with a hopefully better song for the text line, and a song that I actually do enjoy listening to. Mike Schaefer up next for the whole next hour here on Early Break.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Brokers Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Brokers Insurance Agency name. Brokers Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com. Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Fall is football season, and Lincoln Parks and Recreation has the official NFL flag football season for all kids from kindergarten through 8th grade. It's a fun 5-on-5 co-ed format with no blocking, and all players are eligible receivers. Every player gets an official NFL reversible team jersey and flags that they can keep. Space is limited in the league, and need-based scholarships are available. Register today at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892.
Your home isn't going to fix itself, and you're busy enough as it is. So let Cornhusker Construction put the work in to upgrade your house. They do everything interior and exterior, including full remodel jobs. Are your kitchen and bathrooms outdated? Cornhusker Construction can help with that with new flooring, painting, drywall, and anything else. Take advantage of their summer sale with 4% off for the rest of the summer. Call them today at 308-708-0709. Cornhusker Construction.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A mix of sun and clouds expected here for our Thursday as we top out at around 86. We'll see a very light east-southeast wind at around 5 to 10. A few lingering clouds tonight with a low down to around 65. A repeat performance tomorrow with a high of around 87. Over the weekend, those high temps should push back into the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Now through July 16th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Tired of home workouts falling flat? 1 and 2 and whoa. Make your workout a win with tons of equipment and our clean and spacious clubs. And use the crowd meter in our app for the best time to visit. Your fitness is essential. Join in club or at planetfitness.com for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Hurry, deal ends July 16th. Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine. Rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back into Early Break here on a Thursday. I'm Big Sky. Steve Sipple's in the studio, and so is Mike Schaefer. Schaefer, how you doing today?
I'm good. I got to say, I spent the last 3 days working with the other part of the student section, the show that people can listen to over the weekend here on the ticket. And so it feels fitting that today I would be working with Big Sky here and fulfill my student section, obligation.
You've worked with the full crew now.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to plug?
I can compare and contrast at some point after today's show.
Do you want to go ahead and plug your student section show?
Well, we every Sunday at 9 a.m. Nick and I are on for the student section.
Nick
Sainert.
Yeah.
He's DP and Stevens is producer. I'm Early Breaks producer. We joined forces for the greatest hour you'll listen to on radio on a Sunday. It's from 9 to 10 a.m.
Good plug.
And we
had Drew Christo on this last week.
Not last week. We've had him on in the past, but
I thought it was last week.
It was not last week. We've had national track and field meet competitors multiple times. We've had Big Ten champions, and we've had high level Husker baseball recruits on. So I think we have a pretty good show going.
Good job.
And we have and if you're interested in going back and listening to that Drew Christo interview or any of our other interviews or any other part of the show, you can check us out on the podcast page on theticketfm.com.
Is it incredible that he introduces himself as Big Sky? Is that the coolest thing ever?
It is definitely cooler than any way I've ever introduced myself.
Right. I told it was interesting during the baseball saga. When we were talking to Childress, I called Childress and he came on the program, the Early Break program. And I said, okay, this is the way it's going to go down. There's a guy, our producer, Big Sky, is going to call you. And Childress goes, wait a second. So is his name Big Sky? I said, that's his nickname. And he goes, well, he should just go with that.
I often make the joke to my friends because now they call me Big Sky.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's got on now.
It's an incredibly good nickname.
They'll make the joke, or I'll make the joke that Ethan Petrick doesn't exist in Lincoln anymore. It's just Big Sky. My girlfriend will call me Big Sky.
Does that right?
Yes.
Oh man, I'd like to have a girlfriend call me Big Sky. All right,
my grandparents, my parents will call me the Big Sky. It's just the Big Sky. No, I'm Ethan still.
Oh wow, the Big Sky's even.
Yeah, I have
the Big Sky
now. Yes,
I am the Big Sky.
You come back to Montana. And
I am the Big
Sky.
Well, I'm carrying the namesake of the state.
Yeah,
I'm a representative of the state now.
That's a big deal.
I am the Big Sky.
Everybody, the Big Sky is here.
Yes, the Big Sky. All right, we got to talk to Schaefer.
Well, we got to talk about the College World Series too with Schaefer.
Wrapped up.
Mississippi State blows out Vanderbilt last night to win the College World Series, be crowned this year's national champion. I was surprised by the score. I thought it was going to be a much closer game. The series had been hotly contested.
Well, one blowout, one Vanderbilt blows out Mississippi State in the first game. Mississippi State blows out Vandy in the second game, it sets up what you think would be a close game in the third.
Absolutely, but Mississippi State proves to be the better team. Schaefer, what were your thoughts upon seeing that score last night?
Yeah, I picked Mississippi State to win, in no short part because Mississippi State's offense has just been better than Vanderbilt. Mississippi State's been the better team in this tournament as well. It felt like Vanderbilt has had a pretty unconventional route to getting here in the first place, and then I expected a lower scoring game for sure. You have Kumar Rocker, one of the best pitchers in college baseball. You're going into a do or die situation. And Vanderbilt was going against Will Bednar for Mississippi State, who's been fantastic.
Yep.
And so he definitely put the team on his shoulders. I don't remember how many innings he ended up pitching. He was through 5 at one point in time. I don't know if he got deeper than that. I know they were hoping to just get a handful of innings out of him before turning it over to the bullpen. And so, the result didn't surprise me because I thought Mississippi State's offense would be the difference. Vanderbilt had 2 of the best pitchers in the country and just could not score runs enough for it to really matter.
I think it was you who told me Vandy's really good with Rocker and Leiter, their pitchers, but beside that, they're pretty ordinary.
Yeah, it's just sort of fascinating because, like, normally you think about them like they had, I think, the number 3 pick in the Major League Baseball draft last year in Austin Martin, their shortstop. And so they're used to having quite a few good hitters too. And those guys are probably on that roster. They're just young. And it just goes to show you, like, you can get to Omaha a lot of different ways, but usually the complete teams are the ones that are going to put it together. And Mississippi State was a complete team.
This is and Schaefer. Now, there's some interesting offshoots to this discussion. One is Mississippi State's the 9th team in the last 10 years to win it all, which suggests it's very difficult to repeat, obviously.
Yeah. And I just think the baseball, even Major League Baseball, you don't see a lot of repeat teams. I mean, as good as the Dodgers are, it took them forever to win that title in this generation. As good as the Astros are, they have won, and it comes with a bit of an asterisk next to it after everything we've learned.
I would say an asterisk.
The Yankees are known for their accumulation of talent. They haven't won a title since 2009. So I just think baseball is a sport that lends itself to, in the moment, this team is really good. It's hard to replicate that year to year, which I actually think is a good lesson for Nebraska fans that think just because they were on the precipice of the super regional this year, it's not always like that.
No, it's not automatic.
And I mean, you should know, or those that remember 2006 coming off of the team that should have made a deeper run than it even did in the CWS
in 05
and then 06, you're loaded. You win, you run through the Big 12, you get into your regional at home, you went 0-2.
Right.
So it's a very fickle sport. It is a very difficult postseason. And so the team that finishes it off has accomplished something pretty remarkable.
Well,
and what a moment for the Mississippi State fans. I mean, I didn't get to a CWS this year, which is a little rare for me. Normally I get to a midweek game or two, every year. Just didn't happen with the schedule and everything I had going on. But they, by all accounts, that fan base took over Omaha. They deserved and have been to Omaha many times, but to walk away with the title, I had to feel very sweet.
Well, they walked away
their
with
10th appearance, their first title.
Yeah, and they walked away with the first national title for that program in any sport, for the athletic program at Mississippi State. Any sport. That's their first national title.
That is mind-blowing.
I think it is. I was going to ask you if there's a reason why it's not mind-blowing.
Just think
Just
about
some sport like
Nebraska
gymnastics
has won several bowling titles. Has
gymnastics title,
has air rifle.
Yeah,
like any sport
in any NCAA sport. Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, think about all the national titles Nebraska has across the spectrum.
Right.
Volleyball, gymnastics, I don't know, is there 7 to 10 gymnastics titles alone?
Yeah.
Going back to Francis Allen's heyday. John, all the volleyball
5
titles.
for volleyball?
Yeah,
I think.
5. Well,
Pettit
Cook
has 1 and Cook has 4, or Pettit has 5? Or Pettit has 1 and Cook has 5?
I think Cook has 5.
So
I think
that's
he's
6?
Yeah, I think he's 1 away from having not enough fingers on one hand for a ring.
Oh, the Phil Jackson problem.
Yeah. So yeah, Nebraska, all the football titles Nebraska has. So yeah, it's kind of that did strike me. Nothing like there's no random sport they were good at over the years. You know, I don't.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is crazy. I don't want to put it that way. There's no random sport they were good at. You have to be great to win a national title.
Right.
So.
But no, it was a cool moment. It was a great CWS that unfortunately is just going to be remembered
for
NC State and for COVID, basically. And that's unfortunate because Will Bednar and Mississippi State on the other half of the draw were playing in exciting games all the time. I mean, their first win over Texas, the opening game for them in the CWS, featured Bednar taking a no-hitter deep into the night, the home run in the ninth inning, Texas getting 2 runners on, a ton of drama. Pretty much anyone who knew that game was going on had it on at least a television or was following.
What about Saturday's Mississippi State, Texas?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they played in these. It's funny because the championship series wasn't iconic in the sense of none of the games were particularly interesting after the first inning on because one team jumped on the other and then it was just like over.
Okay. Because the question is, what if it would have been Mississippi State? It would have been it'd been Vanderbilt, Texas.
Yeah.
Now I would have found that to be much more alluring.
Really?
Vandy, Texas. Yeah. Because it's not Texas? If only because it's not 2 SEC teams that have faced each other multiple times.
So I guess I didn't care about that as much as I just sort of enjoyed, like, for me, it's about if there's individual, like Bednar.
Bednar's
I
think he's a borderline first rounder.
Yeah.
I saw him rated
I think
36th in the country.
Yeah, he's pitched himself into more prestige than where he was at.
Will
sort of at the
Bednar.
beginning of this whole thing.
Great, very good right-handed pitcher. But I saw he was 36th overall, which I don't know. Would that be first round?
It'd be so it's what they would call the compensation round.
Yeah.
So they have a compensation round A and B in between round 1 and 2.
Okay, that's what I figured.
There's a whole. We don't.
So he could be in that.
Yeah,
he could be in that range.
Or if it's signability reasons, he could jump into the bottom of the first round where a team's like, okay, we could spend a little less of our allotted money, get him for a little cheaper, save some of that money for a high school kid that we're going to have to spend more on, a la Drew Christo, who's going to go over slot if he were to sign.
Yeah. Well,
so
So Big Sky, there you go. There's a little baseball talk.
It's weird. Like the baseball draft should have happened by now. Like we should have been talking like, the San Francisco Giants, Will Bednar.
Yeah. That's how it usually is.
Right. And I quite frankly, I don't like that it hasn't happened because I'm used to that routine.
Right.
And as I've gotten older in life, I like routine more and more. I don't like to learn things after the fact.
Well, with Drew Christo potentially going early in this draft, that it's got a lot of Husker fans holding their breath on
He's
whether
not the
or not
only
he's going
one.
to
I
play.
mean, they got some dudes that they have brought in that were part of the MLB draft combine that they had up in Minneapolis here a week or so ago.
Oh boy,
Chase Mason
Yes.
from South Dakota.
Yep.
He might not be the secret that we've kind of all talked about.
Yeah, that's trouble.
Overtones.
Yeah, I talked to Will right after the season, and he expressed that it's possible they don't get Mason.
Yeah. Which I mean, we'll see. Yeah. The little I know, and I don't know much, the little I know is that he wants to play college baseball unless someone makes it so he doesn't, really need to consider that option. So then you're talking about probably a fair amount of money there.
Well, and what you're talking about too is there's some scouts that are saying Chase Mason, he's a 1-1 guy, which is first round, first overall.
Yeah.
That he has that sort of potential.
Right.
Now, think about Nebraska. That's Darren Erstad. That's Alex Gordon. I mean,
Yep.
if that's what he is, that's what you're talking about, right? I mean, that's sort of exciting, right?
I mean, so if you're a Nebraska fan, you're just kind of holding out through that draft that you get the chance to see a Chase Mason and a Drew Christo
it's
on
intriguing.
the same team.
It's really the draft for Nebraska baseball fans is really compelling.
In addition to, you're probably losing Cade Povich, but where is he going to go? And then Spencer Schwellenbach, is he going to be a top 50 guy?
Yeah.
And it seems like he's going to be,
Yeah.
which I never would have told you coming into the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have come up to me and like, is Spencer Schwellenbach going to be a top 50 pick in the Major League Baseball draft? I might have laughed at you.
Yeah.
Which shows you how stupid I am. But
well, not necessarily.
He's just been remarkable this year,
Right.
and that talent that he has it would be intoxicating.
Well, the pitching element
right
became
he's got
major
such
factor.
a fresh arm.
Yeah.
Because he's really only pitched for a small amount of his life. And so there's a lot more live bullets in that arm than a Will Bednar.
Right.
Where like he's thrown a ton to
Uh-huh.
get to where Mississippi State's at,
Mhm.
which is sort of, teams are fearful of that a little bit because you just don't know. You never know when someone's arm, one more pitch is the pitch that basically everything breaks down.
So you mentioned that that as you get older, you're drawn to routine. And right now we're talking about major changes in the college athletic world on a national scale, but also on a local scale.
Yeah, Nebraska's been turned upside down.
Is that okay? I feel that way. Some people might say that's a little rash, but
It's probably a bit of an overstatement, but look, they don't have their athletic director, and they're about on the verge of a massive season for football. It feels like a pivotal season for basketball too, not at the same level.
I agree with that.
Not at the same level as football, but a season in which people are like, okay, the accumulation of talent is here. You've had less turnover than the year before. We watched you go through an insane amount of adversity and actually come out pretty impressive with everything with the COVID restart for them last year. Where's this team going to be at?
Right.
So, and then, football, we could spend the rest of the day talking about the questions and concerns there. And you don't necessarily know on July 1 who your guy is that's overseeing your athletic department. Oh, by the way, here's NLI. Here's a new in-house media that you're starting up. Like,
oh yeah, we even talked about that.
We're on the precipice of, major change in college football beyond just these couple things we're talking about. Like it's important to have a leader at this point, and it's important to have a leader that you feel like can shepherd you through what could be a fascinating time in college athletics.
Given the importance of an athletic director, are you surprised at all by the Bounds and Pollard news that came out yesterday that they are not interested or not going to be the athletic director at Nebraska?
I hadn't seen the Bounds thing.
Yeah, that was that Parker Gabriel reported that yesterday.
Yeah, so that would have been a name that I anticipated would have been at least interested in the job, given his heavy activity as Nebraska's systems president, and then his involvement as a fundraiser.
Right.
I mean, he certainly knows Nebraska athletics probably better than every candidate that wouldn't be Garrett Classy at this point.
Yep.
And so there's a certain allure there. And there's the understanding that this is someone who's been involved in athletics as a GA, way back when at the beginning of his career with Southern Miss football. So he's at least been on that aspect of things too. So I'm actually kind of surprised. I didn't hear that about I didn't see that last night about Hank Bounds. Jamie Pollard, I'm not surprised. I felt like that was going to be a difficult win for Nebraska because things are pretty good at Iowa State. Now, his comment about Iowa State being situated better than Nebraska
as a department
seems odd, given that the only thing at Iowa State that I could tell you today is in better standing than Nebraska would be their football program.
It's not their baseball program. I will tell you that.
Well, it's not their.
They don't have a baseball program.
Men's basketball went 2-22 last year and changed coaches. Like I think that initial quote is like, well, yeah, Iowa State's been rolling, and no, they haven't. I mean, women's basketball and football are very good for them. You know who finished higher in wrestling last year? It wasn't the program that had Cale Sanderson. It was Nebraska in the NCAA. So, he made that comment and people jumped on it like, yeah, look at where Nebraska. It's like, well, they've been better at pretty much everything except football. And I know that football is everything for the most part.
Well, and
but financially, Nebraska's in a better
spot.
situation.
Now, he might be talking about they have a $90 million athletic training complex that's ready to open.
Yeah.
We're still working toward that.
I don't think he needs to explain himself as to why he would stay. I mean, he built that thing to the point where now he gets to kind of enjoy, like, oh, look, I have the coach that everybody's jealous of in the country. We have a top 10 potential football team. We've opened these new facilities. I hired a guy everyone's excited about for basketball. Like, there's an allure for him to stay there because now you get to enjoy what has not always been an easy 16 years.
Right.
Like the way people talk about Jamie Pollard, if Matt Campbell hadn't ridden in on his white horse to save the day in Ames, This is still the guy that hired Paul Rhodes.
Yeah, and Gene Chizik.
Right.
Chizik.
And so it's not like, and so this is the larger conversation about athletic directors that I find fascinating. We get real picky and choosy about who's good and who's bad based on what happens exactly in this moment versus any sort of long-term look at it.
Right.
And Jamie Pollard is really good at his job to last as long as he has to survive the amount of hires that he has to get to where Matt Campbell makes him look even better. So
right.
It's just, I just think like as you get into the well, how was Bill Moose at his time at Nebraska?
Yeah, how would you size up the job Bill Moose
you have to break
did?
down different things. I think he reintroduced an athletic program that had grown distant from a fan base. So I think that's a feather in his cap. Like he made himself accessible, visible. He talked to you every Friday. It seemed a standing appointment.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
It
But
felt
it was a lot,
like
yeah.
every Saturday
Yeah.
there was a different Moose related column coming from you.
Now, Schaefer, you mentioned how long Pollard got at Iowa State. I think it's safe to say he probably wouldn't have been able to be as unsuccessful for as long at Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's a realistic thing too. And you have to walk. Being an AD is difficult because you have to do a bunch of different things. You have to keep boosters happy. You have to be a leader in your own department, which is where it sounds like Moose wasn't as strong, at least to some people.
Yeah, it depends who you talk to on that. But go ahead.
I mean,
there's 350 people in that department. You'll get I don't know that. Well, go ahead. But I think there's some people that say, yeah, he led us through a pandemic pretty well.
Well, and there's that. There's some people who felt like they couldn't get the time of day with him, and they're pretty high up in their own sport.
Right.
So that's an issue. I mean, you're an AD of the entire department, and I know Nebraska football takes up 99% of the space in everyone's head. You got to find time for the other.
Well, the reason it's interesting when he came in, he kind of foretold that angle. He said, the way I approach my job is like when you go to a restaurant, if the main cook's not there, there shouldn't be a drop off. That you should have cooks that are as good as the main cook, the reason that restaurant opened in the first place.
Yeah.
So he was sending the message, look, the cook's not always going to be in the shop, but it's going to operate at a high level when I'm not here. And now here's the thing. You talk to any Wisconsin fan, they'll tell you that Barry Alvarez spent, I won't say most, but a lot of time in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody said a word because football programs operating at a high level, right?
Well, yeah, but
Barry was not around a lot. Trust me.
I think that version of athletic director is phased out at this point.
You think so?
I think you look at Josh Whitman at Illinois as more of an example of what athletic directors are likely to be. I mean, it's no different than, for me, the changeover that, and I'm a dork, so this is the example I'm going to use. The changeover you're seeing in Major League Baseball front offices.
Okay.
It's no longer a
What do you mean?
long-time scouts and long-time baseball people.
Okay.
It's dudes with Ivy League educations that have MBA backgrounds with statistics and analytics and trends and business and everything else. Like the AD role feels increasingly more of a business role.
Okay.
And a business concept than anything else.
Do we have one? Okay. Now we maybe could continue this discussion in the next segment, but I would say this. Now, think about Nebraska. Okay. They had, the model where the AD position was popular and it worked out pretty well. Bob Devaney, former coach, Tom Osborne, former coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill Byrne was not a former coach. He was probably the best AD Nebraska's ever had. It's an interesting discussion.
Was he that popular though?
No, he was not that popular, but he was an outstanding AD. Now, the question becomes now with what you described going on in Major League Baseball, that works against like a John Cook type hire. But
it doesn't have to.
No, I know what you're saying. Cook would be immensely popular, I think, at least out of the gate. Now then the conversation evolves. But we can get back into that discussion after the break. You want to go to break, Big Sky? You're the pilot here.
I was just going to let you guys go for a little while, but you seem ready to go to break. So
well, let's go to break.
We'll go to break. We'll be right back with more. Talk about the AD, NIL with
Talk
Mike
about John
Schaefer
Cook a
here
little bit
on a Thursday here on Early Break.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Coppell wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelly Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at CoppellCars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Right now in Nebraska, over 150 AmeriCorps members are using their talent and passion to make our communities better. AmeriCorps is all about overcoming the challenges our country faces through compassion and teamwork. And the best part, every AmeriCorps adventure is unique. Find out what AmeriCorps can be for you by starting your own adventure today. Learn more about AmeriCorps programming in Nebraska by checking out Serve Nebraska on social media. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Now through July 16th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Tired of home workouts falling flat? 1 and 2 and whoa, whoa, whoa! Make your workout a win with tons of equipment and our clean and spacious clubs. And use the crowd meter in our app for the best time to visit. Your fitness is essential. Join in club or at planetfitness.com for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Hurry, deal ends July 16th. Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
Your home isn't going to fix itself, and you're busy enough as it is. So let Cornhusker Construction put the work in to upgrade your house. They do everything interior and exterior, including full remodel jobs. Are your kitchen and bathrooms outdated? Cornhusker Construction can help with that with new flooring, painting, drywall, and anything else. Take advantage of their summer sale with 4% off for the rest of the summer. Call them today at 308-708-0709. Cornhusker Construction.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We've heard a lot of names thrown out about who could potentially be the next athletic director at Nebraska. And one name that's particularly interesting, or should be particularly interesting for Husker fans, is John Cook, the head volleyball coach. Where does Cook stand in this AD search?
Well, it's hard to say right now. Big Sky but I just say right now, I wouldn't rule him out based on what I know. And I'm not talking totally off the cuff. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on the phone yesterday talking to people that know Cook, that are familiar with what's going on. I mean, it's hard to know. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what's going on with the search, but I just would tell you I wouldn't rule out Cook. And Cook is very intriguing to me because if only for one reason. Now, this is where I get you guys involved in this discussion. I think Cook would be the unexample of a hire that would excite the fan base, that would, kind of unify the fan base if it needs that a little bit right now. It would calm the fan base and maybe even galvanize the fan base. I think he has that sort of cachet in this state, that sort of sway. Do you agree with that?
I feel like it's hard to say too much on that because so much of it just depends on how the football team and the basketball team performs. On the field.
Immediately though. I'm talking about
in
July of a press conference when everybody's wondering what's going on. Oh, it's John Cook. Okay.
I think
John Cook.
I think in the idea of, in the moment, people would be happy with that hire.
Would they have visions of Devaney Osborne, the Hall of Fame coach, coming to lead the athletic department?
So the fascinating thing about
Do you understand
to me
that?
is who did Devaney hire?
Well, I can't remember who he hired, but he was he was regarded
as you describe it. Both of those guys strike me more as figurehead ADs than they do
a little bit.
So then what is it that people want?
I don't know.
I don't know if people want a figurehead AD anymore.
Well, I'm trying.
They want a guy.
Would you say Tom was a figurehead ID?
I do. I mean, if you base it off the hires he made, he didn't do very well.
Well, at this point, it looked the Pelini years look a lot.
Well,
better.
they do look a lot better. Yeah. That is absolutely correct.
Right. The 9-10 win. 3-10 win seasons.
That looks better.
Yeah.
And Tim Miles made an NCAA tournament,
Right.
and Darren Erstad wasn't like he was bad.
Right.
It's just that none of them survived longer than
right.
Pelini was the longest of that group.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, Miles might have been the longest of that group.
Yeah, Miles was.
Dexter on the text line raises a concern, and it's a big concern, he says, but it's a Big Sky concern as well because it's one I was thinking about.
Okay, Big Sky.
If Cook takes the
Evolution.
job as the AD, are we worried that the volleyball program will suffer? Does he
No,
have?
I think he has such a legacy of coaches that have followed behind him. And there's the I can't think of the last name, Tyler
Hildebrand. Tyler Hildebrand.
I think the next guy. I think it's just a matter of when Cook decides to step aside.
Oh no, it is. He is the next guy.
So then I don't expect at all a drop off with Nebraska volleyball.
He has the best recruiting class in the history of the sport.
I don't want to make it seem like what John Cook doesn't do. I mean, he's phenomenal. I just anticipate that the succession plan is in place, that Hildebrand is the guy, and that he's going to put Nebraska in a very similar spot as to where John Cook is.
It's a good question though by Dexter.
Yeah,
it was unnamed texter on the text line.
That's a good question. It's a very legitimate question.
Well, and we haven't. I don't know if there's a great example in Nebraska history of the secession plan other than maybe Pettit to Cook. And I don't know if that was a planned thing.
Thinking back, this is the kind of thing I should know at my age. It was largely planned.
Yeah, so then that might be the most successful version of it. So at least that's in the same sport. Obviously, baseball didn't go well with Anderson.
As I remember, I want to stop on that succession plan with Pettit Cook. Somebody could correct me on this. I don't want to say that I unequivocally know this, but I covered Pettit. I covered Pettit when he stepped aside and John Cook came in. It did feel like this is the plan. It maybe wasn't as it's not like it was now. And John Cook wasn't a sitting associate head coach. He wasn't here.
Right. He was at Wisconsin.
But he was kind of it almost felt like he was at Wisconsin. It almost felt like a coach in waiting, but he was just waiting somewhere else. That was pretty much the plan. It wasn't as explicit as it is now, but it was think about, by the way, just think about that. I mean, you went from one extraordinary coach who had just won a national title to another extraordinary coach who didn't wait long to win another national title.
But Nebraska's also gone from a coach who wins a national title to the first 9-win coach to get fired ever in football.
Right.
So it's not a for sure thing at all. That
it's not, Big Sky.
And so I think that
it's not,
and especially with the very real example of it not working out for Nebraska fans, I think it can be a little concerning.
Yeah,
but the thing is that the first person isn't going to coach forever. So what are you going to do? Like, eventually someone else has to take that job. So
exactly,
and
Cook's,
you can be fearful of it all you want, but it's going to happen.
Cook's in his mid-60s too.
I mean, time's undefeated.
Right. So now it is now the reason we're talking about is because John Cook has been mentioned as a possible new AD, and I believe that he is someone that's still in the hunt. Pollard took himself out. Bounds, I think Bounds took himself out, and as opposed to someone telling him he's not going to be in. Who knows on that? I was telling Big Sky, the Big Sky, earlier in the show, Shafe. Now
TBS.
My intel yesterday suggested that the talk about Ed Stewart was cooling.
Oh,
yes. Now I'm not. Listen, I don't mind saying it on the air because that's what the feeling I got yesterday. But it's just a feeling. It was just from a couple sources, and I closed the day thinking, okay, I'm regarding Ed Stewart more as a long shot right now, but I wouldn't rule him out.
So
I would not rule him out.
That's really interesting.
Okay.
Because that would probably have been the prohibitive favorite coming into this week, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, I thought Pollard and Ed Stewart were the prohibitive favorites.
If those aren't the guys and it's not a coach from in the system, then it seems like you're pulling a sitting AD from somewhere else because
right. Exactly.
You kind of don't have the other first-time AD option that makes a ton of sense.
Right. I mean, I've heard Mark Manning, Nebraska's wrestling coach, might have some interest. I would look at that. But no, I
don't know how people would react to that.
I don't either.
I know Mark Manning, and I think Mark Manning is a great guy.
He's got a very good picture sense of college athletics, too.
I think he is someone that is unsung in the athletic department over there that people don't realize how much time he's put in. He's well educated. He has a background in sports administration. He's been a head coach and run a program for a long time and has done it successfully. But if you turn around and you introduce Mark Manning as the athletic director, the amount of people in this fan base who have no idea who that is,
right,
sort of is startling.
Yeah, it is. Now, I know Mark fairly well, and I've always been intrigued by how interested he is in the big picture.
Yeah,
how interested he is. If you
have you
talk
ever
to
interviewed
Mark,
him in a sauna?
I'm happy to say I haven't.
That was one of my first experiences as a wrestling writer for the Daily Nebraska.
So you went over to the wrestling room at the Devaney
I was a
Center.
little late to the media gathering. He's like, if you want this interview with Craig Brester and I, we're going to be in the sauna. So there's me in a coat with a notepad, my recorder's sweating like
over
crazy.
at the Devaney Center.
Yep.
Well, the practice room itself was sort of like a sauna.
I love covering the wrestling team, though. I
Really?
mean, he was fantastic. Jordan Burroughs won his first national title the year that I did. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and Manning is
I
incredible.
have nothing but strong positive feelings about Mark Manning.
Mark Manning is he's great to deal with. He would, he's intriguing to me. And I think you would find that he would do the job. Like he would willingly do it. I don't know. I don't know how strong that candidacy is if he's looking at it. So that's where we're kind of at, Big Sky. And I told Big Sky earlier, and I'm maybe going out on a limb on these things a little bit. Again, based on what I'm hearing yesterday, I think this is going to happen quickly. I don't think it'll go to.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go to July 31st. I don't think is there 31 days in July?
Yes.
I don't think it'll go to July 15th.
Okay, so that was my next question. To me, the middle of the month is already too long.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
this is a thing.
Why do you say that?
This is a thing that if you are going to retire someone, which is how I've been phrasing it, you would think you'd have your next person ready to go if you've made that big of a decision.
I agree with you on that.
And I honestly expected that there had been an announcement before the 4th of July.
I'm not ruling that out.
Likely to happen, though.
No, but I'm not ruling that out even. Okay. I'm gonna say I think I said I've moved the goalpost a little bit already on this show. I think I said 8 days within 8 days earlier. I guess I'm saying by the 15th now. I'd be shocked if it goes beyond the 15th. It's because something went awry. That's what
Nebraska's going to Nebraska when it gets to Nebraska.
Well, now on the other hand, though, remember Moose. It took a month. It was a full.
They used a full search firm for that.
Yeah. Well, they're putting together. They're using a firm. We're waiting for the contract with the firm.
Baffles me.
It's all very baffling. Because I'm hearing, here's what I was hearing yesterday.
This doesn't give me any confidence in this hire.
This is gonna happen quickly, but we're waiting on the contract. Parker, waiting on the contract for the firm. We just got the committee put together now. But I've been through these things before. Committee. I mean, you got to put together. Oh, I mean, I've seen it. We're putting together a committee. Oh, you just made the hire. Well, you just put the committee together. That kind of stuff happens. Okay. I've seen it before. It's odd. It can all be very confusing.
Well, do you think the longer this goes, the less confident people will feel in the hire? Because I think that there's a correlation there.
Why do you say that?
Because it would strike me as they missed on their top choices.
Or you could say easily, no, they're doing their due diligence. It's a process. They're going through the process. They want to get the right guy.
So then why was it imperative that Bill Moose be retired on June 20, whatever?
Well, the fiscal year ended Wednesday. It could have been that.
So was it about saving money?
I don't know.
Was it about not rolling Moose's contract? So these are real questions because they made not just a decision, a big decision.
Yes, they did.
That clearly not every duck was in the row when that decision was put together.
I don't think so. Why are you smiling, Big Sky?
Because for the sake and blood pressure of Husker fans, I hope the athletic department or the decision-making process doesn't go as late as we are for the game show right now. Okay. So for your chance to shut up, Sipple, call 402-464-5685.
We're all right, Big Sky.
Today's
Roll
topic,
into it.
Throwback Thursday. It's NFL running backs. So if you think you know NFL running backs really well, call in now to shut up Sipple.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then
I know
rage starts to grow inside.
We went into that pretty fast. You got to give some people time to call.
Where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Wow, this is weird. It was Jack.
Yeah, I didn't even realize what time. I assume we're still on the air right now as we have this conversation.
Lines are open.
No one wants to call, Big Sky?
I mean, I know people are sort of intimidated by you and I, but
very disappointed. You think there'd be a brave soul out there?
There's got to be a brave soul. We have a line open, Big Sky.
402-464-5685. Get some bagels.
If no one wants bagels, it's going to have to be, we have a caller.
It wasn't going to take long. Oh, now here they come. Here they come. Run over there. So what's happening now is the lines are jacked.
Yeah.
Big Sky right now, our leader today, is heading over to screen the call.
We put him in a tough spot as I look at the clock.
It's not. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Okay, so we're gonna have to roll through this quick, Shape. We're in a hurry up offense right now.
All right, we can do that. 2-minute offense.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, we're standing over the ball.
Yeah. Hey, Big Sky, we're in our 2-minute drill right now.
Waiting for the signal from the official.
Yeah.
All right, we got Gabe on the phone line. Gabe, how do you feel about throwback NFL running backs?
I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night.
Oh, good. Well, I hope the maid service is strong.
All right, Gabe.
It was.
All right, Gabe. First question goes to you. What running back from the New York Jets led the NFL in rushing yards with 1,697 yards in 2004?
2004, the Jets. Would that be Bilal Powell?
It was not Bilal Powell. Sip, do you have an idea on the 2004 starting running back for the New York
I have a
Jets?
guess.
Oh, well, I hear 2-minute drill. We're not messing around. Go.
Curtis Martin.
Oh, that's a great one. Good job. Nice job. It was not
We're
Freeman McNeil. Go ahead.
Up 1-0. Sip, first question to you. Schaefer is out of play.
Okay.
What running back from the Seattle Seahawks finished second in the NFL in rushing yards in 2004 with 1,696 yards?
What year?
2004.
Can I just give the last name? Warner. Bad guess.
Gabe, do you have an idea on the starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks in 2004?
2004, that's a long time ago. I'm going to pass on that.
It was Sean Alexander.
I should have got it.
She was on the cover of Madden, I think, the following year.
Well, that's how we know.
All right, Gabe, last question. You're down 1-0. What running back from the New England Patriots finished third in the NFL in rushing yards in 2004 with 1,635 yards?
Oh, geez.
What year?
Curtis Martin.
Sip, do you want this one, or are you going to pass?
I'm out.
I want it. No,
I'll
wait.
take a shot, guys.
If you pass, you're up 1-0 going into your own question.
Yeah, your last question, you're up 1-0, but
Pass.
you could win it. All right, he's going to pass. It was Corey Dillon.
I didn't know that.
All right, Sip, last question for the win. What running back from the Jaguars finished 10th in the NFL in rushing yards in 2004 with 1,224 yards?
Jaguars?
Yes.
2004?
Yep.
How would I know that?
Jake made the game show, so take it up with Jake.
I think I've known all of these.
2004 Jackson Jaguars running back?
Yep.
How long have they been a franchise?
Since 96.
2004 Jaguars running back. Spencer Tillman.
All right,
Schaefer, I didn't know. Okay?
All right, Gabe, you need this one to win.
I
You need
didn't
to
know.
steal to win. The Jacksonville Jaguars running back in 2004. Do you know it?
Anderson.
Anderson.
This guy, what about Fred Taylor?
It was Fred Taylor.
Nice job.
I knew all of them.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabe.
You guys have a great day.
You too. Thanks for calling in. Rough game show.
You bet.
Well orchestrated, though, by Big Sky.
Yes, no Trump and no babies.
Right. You did a great job. I didn't do a good job. Schaefer did a very good job. You did a very good job. Me and Gabe, we just kind of flailed around out there like two fish.
Well, for Gabe's sake, he's lucky that it wasn't Schaefer. It wasn't Shut Up Schaefer today, because he would have gotten sweep, I think.
Yeah.
No. All right.
Let's
wrap this baby up.
We'll
Big
be
Sky.
right back here on Early Break with Big Sky, Steve Sipple, and Michael Schaefer.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus, as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A mix of sun and clouds expected here for our Thursday as we top out at around 86. We'll see a very light east-southeast wind at around 5 to 10. A few lingering clouds tonight with a low down to around 65. A repeat performance tomorrow with a high of around 87. Over the weekend, those high temps should push back into the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Brokers Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Brokers Insurance Agency name. Brokers Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
With 20 years in the financial services industry, Corey Callahan of Heritage Financial Services works with families and businesses to reach their financial goals. Whether it's growing assets, protecting your assets, employee benefits, or business succession planning, Corey can help. Contact Corey Callahan at Heritage Financial Services at 402-432-7378 or on Facebook at Heritage Financial Services-Corey Callahan.
This
Anybody who knows me knows I was cocky out of the womb.
is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are right up against the break here, so we're going to go straight in the 2-minute drill.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hot route! Red 7, hot route! Now, set, hut.
The Huskers are a 9-point favorite at Illinois to start the season. Schaefer, Sip, what do you guys think about that line?
Feels high to me. I mean, I think this is going to be a one-score game, close and late. Illinois is better than people realize. They return a lot of players, and I think Brett Bielema is a good coach.
Nebraska gets a lot of respect, just a lot of off-season respect. They always do. I mean, that line is curious to me out of the gate. It's got to come down. I mean, can you see that line going up before kickoff?
Absolutely not.
Right. I mean, it's got to get down to 5. I would say 5.
I have no idea how it could be as high as it is.
Right.
I wouldn't bet it. And
No.
I'm a degenerate, so
I wouldn't bet it either. For Early Break on a Thursday, I'm Big Sky. He's Steve Sipple.
See ya.
See ya.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska in the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but that of my family, friends, and our community because I got my COVID vaccine. And now, everyone 12 years and older can be vaccinated. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
The DP and Stevens Show.
Everett Gray, former UNLV star.
Some of your parents are going, don't coach in the car. Stop coaching in the car. They only can play for the coach, not you. You don't say, you never hear a parent, you don't, oh, you were terrible on your rotation, on that third rotation.
Right.
They don't know. They don't know the rotation. They don't say that. All they say is shoot more. That's the only thing they can say.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you know that Myers Cork and Bottle is still open for walk-in business, but is now also offering citywide delivery? Learn more or place your order by calling 476-1518. And be sure to listen to Thirsty Thursday with Myers Cork and Bottle every Thursday at 4:30 on The Drive.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with a COVID vaccine. Everyone 12 years and older can too. Get vaccinated and stay strong. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Peacock. Peacock. I like the way you say peacock.